Welcome everyone, this is the Rocket.Chat Engineering Podcast. I'm Rodrigo Nascimento, Rocket.Chat CTO and co-founder, and your host on this weekly podcast, where we'll talk about the news on the engineering areas from the past week. I have with me today our backend leader and co-founder, Diego Sampaio.
Hello there.
Our apps engine leader, Douglas Gubert.
Hello folks.
Our cloud leader, Aaron Ogle.
Hello everybody.
Our front-end leader, Guilherme Gazzo.
Hello.
Our mobile leader, Mello.
Hey guys.
And our Omnichannel product manager, Renato Becker.
Hi guys.
So let's get started. First of all, we had a patch release on this week, and the version is 3.9.1. It was released with some fixes, important fixes. And with that release, we did a patch release for all the major versions that we had released. So we have 3.8.3, 3.7.3, 2.4.13, 1.3.4, and 0.74.4. That all releases were incorporating a security fix for people that were using SAML for login. So if you're using SAML and didn't update yet with these past releases, I recommend you to do so. And you're going to have a blog post with more details soon. So going on to the teams, Sampaio, Diego, what's going on the back end?
All right. So yeah, this week we are hosting a new event. So we have set up microservices again for this new event. We are expecting like 15,000 users. So we are looking forward to see if this new infrastructure is able to support that. Everything is going well so far. Also, last week we were still working on merging the presence code from the enterprise folder to the community. The work's done already, just waiting the PR review. We have been working on the storage integration. Storage is a decentralized cloud storage solution. Very interesting. We are facing a few issues on how to integrate that, mainly because the lib we use for storing files looks like it tries to get the confirmation of the file after upload, but since storage is decentralized, looks like it takes a while to be able to respond that. So we are trying to fix that in order to finish the integration. On the 3.9.1 release, we have fixed an issue with link image previews on links. So it should now work. Also, something that is impacting pretty much all of our clients is that Google is imposing new rules for OAuth clients. So we have to change that on how we do OAuth with Google on the mobile app and the desktop app. So we are talking together, like all the teams together, to figure out how to implement a solution for that works for every platform. We are trying to get to the Google's date deadline. So still looking forward to see how we're gonna do that. And this week we are working on the issue that might be affecting group DMs. If a user change his name or his username, the group DMs that user is part of might get the title scrambled or lost. So we are working on that as well. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome. I was looking into this event during this past days, and it's interesting to see how the presence affects the whole thing. They were running more than 10K, I guess, concurrent users now, and once you disable the presence, we got everything working really well. But the presence is something you need to focus in the future to improve it more and more.
Yeah, and it's also because the way those events work, they have a lot of like incoming connections and closing connections because they are attending sessions and things like that. So that's like not a regular usage of Rocket.Chat, where like people usually connects at the morning and like disconnects at the end of the working hours. So this kind of setup we might need to, as you said, improve to be able to support that more good.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of work to do, issue. Okay, Tog, what's going on the Apps Engine?
Hello. So, couple of things. The HA bug has finally been squished. It should be out on the next version of Rocket.Chat. And we are evaluating and debating if we're going to release a patch for previous versions of Rocket.Chat and the Apps Engine as well. So might have some activity on there during the week. Also, we've noticed a problem with our DX in the Apps Engine that makes it easier for devs to hit a compiler error in our marketplace. So the thing is, we have in the apps manifest, there is a property called required API version, where you need to put the minimum version of Apps Engine that your app needs to work properly. And there is the version on your package.json file that is filled by npm. So, but the thing is, like on the marketplace compiler that happens on the cloud, it uses only the version on the manifest to determine what Apps Engine to download and to try and compile. Even though it might, and you might hit errors, even though you locally there will have no errors at all during the compilation. So this is a kind of a incongruency, or like it's very easy to overlook this property in the manifest. So we will be adding, or we improving the CLI for it to warn whenever this kind of thing happens and potentially fix it automatically. Also, our permission system podcast, it will be recorded later this week, I think on Thursday, due to some scheduling conflicts we had. And talking about it, the work on the Apps Engine implementation for this permission manager, it has been going strong, and this week we might be able to start the parallel part on the Rocket.Chat site, so that we can show the proper permissions to the administrator when they're installing the apps. And those two things will moving parallel up until the end of this release cycle. And that's it for us.
Awesome. Excited for this first podcast specific. Nice to see this fix for the problems with apps being disabled. It was related, at the end, it was related to that status shared on the database among all those instances.
Yes, exactly. So there was a temporary state that was being saved in the database, and then it could affect how other instances determined whether to enable the app or not during the startup.
Cool.
Shout out to Tassio.
Yeah.
Our team member that worked for a long time on this on this fix.
For sure. Yeah, congrats on that, and thanks. So, moving on, the next one is Aaron. What's going on the cloud team?
All right. So I guess continue on from last week. We are working on the add-ons. Work is progressing pretty well. We're also working this week with the marketing team to define some new requirements for app submissions in the marketplace. Things like gathering screenshots during to display to show how your app works. Including instructions for how to get up and going. Some apps like Giphy, for example, or Jiffy, don't start playing more here, have a like you need to get an API key or something, right? So adds instructions for that. So we'll be kind of working through those and hopefully start collecting, allowing publishers to provide that information soon. So stay tuned. The cloud team will be digging into our Docker image. The size of the image is a little bit larger than we would like and has kind of started to impact us a little bit in various aspects. So, I think it's been, looking back, it's actually been larger than we'd like for a while. We're going to dig into that, try to get it shrunk down a little bit. We also kind of on some of our back-end tooling, we're doing starting to look into a rewrite of our front end of Fleet Command, our internal tool for provisioning from Aurelia to React. And this is mostly because most of our team knows React, and I think it's maybe like 2 of us that know Aurelia. So it's kind of a smart move to kind of open that up for others to be able to collaborate and contribute. And I think finally we have some job openings for the cloud team coming soon. So stay tuned to our career page for this. I think that's it.
Great. Is that Aurelia too different to React? Or is there, I don't know Aurelia, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not too different. It shares a lot of similarities. But it's different enough that it requires kind of like a context switch. It does two-way binding differently than React. It's to me, I find it easy, but we use React everywhere else, so even from one platform to the other, takes me a while to switch back to thinking Aurelia. So
yeah. And it makes totally sense to use a single framework for everything. Even more, we can start using our library of components later. I don't know if you're already using that.
Not yet, but I think we'll be able to start using at least some of the components. Yeah,
that's great to keep unified UI for the whole thing, right? Awesome, thank you. So the front end. Gazzo, what's going on there?
So nothing special. We are still working on the rewrite. We have moved the new page, like the members list and invite links, and we added actually had a big change on the folders, how the files were structured to follow. We are trying to put some easier, a simpler rule to where the files should live. So we changed like 400 files, I believe. So sorry if some PR got like conflicted about because of that, but I promise it's for a good. There is a good reason for that, and something that worth to mention, like we released few new hooks. It's not something huge, but since we realized that people have some change on the operational system, like reduce the motion or reduce data, or change the color schema, we are creating some hooks, hacked hooks to identify this and bring this configuration to Rocket.Chat. Like probably do not load the image if we put the saving data on the system. Nowadays we have like a setting to do that, but we want to identify these configurations by the system. So yeah, it is interesting, but we are still using only for motions, like reduce the transitions and stuff like that. But we have plans to use it in like detect if user is using the dark theme. Actually, it's not dark theme in the macOS. It's like colored scheme, dark or light, then and change the colors of Rocket.Chat by automatically. So yeah, but we just released the hooks, right? Just we're planning to put in use like soon as possible. And yeah, I think that's it for this week.
Awesome. And do you have any expectations when you start changing the messages to Rect?
Probably not this month. We are finishing the header and the other stuff that we started, and we are quite done on finishing the header. I believe that we're gonna put on the open this week to not only test but let others check how it's working. And I believe we're gonna start this message maybe next week, but we're not gonna finish this year, I think, because it will be like a huge change. So
yeah, makes sense. Awesome, thank you. So moving on to mobile, Mello, the other Diego, what's going on there?
Okay. Last week we fixed a couple of annoying bugs on keyboard. We merged PR from the community to add username info on messages. It was a long issue. We were just showing a small avatar joined the channel and no username. So yeah. And we merged the PR to prompt join code for password protected channels. We also merged the PR to make white label easier on Android. Because white label, when you run the white label version from the white label docs, Android wasn't finding the correct intent to trigger the app on the simulator or on the device. And with this, and prior to this PR, the reader would change all package names to the new bundle ID to make that intent be found and triggered. So yeah, that's that PR. It's really simple, but it's quite nice. We also released 4.13 on the experimental app. It contains right-to-left support, channel actions, SSL client certificate as highlights, but there's also tons of bug fixes and improvements. And yeah, we're monitoring to check if everything is working properly. And next week, we're going to release this beta on the official apps, and on the other week as public version to everyone if everything is doing right. We've been working on a new step to build official version of the app on our CI. And we've been trying to send native timeouts as param to our JS SDK, but we just discovered that Apple doesn't allow us to do it because it might drain battery devices' batteries, they said. And we're just evaluating our options, but we might not have an easy one. Later this week, we're going to work on status icons instead of these blank circles. And yeah, that's it.
That's a lot of things. Thank you. Moving on to the next, the last but not the least. Renato, what's going on the Omnichannel?
Hi, Rodrigo. Good news first. We have finally submitted the first version of the Salesforce CRM app to our marketplace later last week. And now the app is waiting for a review. So if everything goes well, this app will be available on our marketplace during this week, I hope.
Awesome.
And still on apps, yeah. Still on apps, we are now focused on another app that is one of our WhatsApp integrations. I'm talking about the 360 Dialogue app. We are going to add other important improvements to this app. One of them is the ability to send outbound messages to WhatsApp end users. This is a customer need, market demand, and it's time to focus on this kind of feature. And another important improvement that is the ability to deal with expired conversations. Currently, when a WhatsApp session is expired, the agent is not aware about that. So we are going to add important UI and UX improvements on this integration. So this is one of our top priorities in short term. And the last item to mention today is that we are now going to focus on the email as channel. Email as channel is part of our roadmap, and now it has become our top priority. I'm talking about Omnichannel. It's actually not. It's not just a Omnichannel feature, but it's a feature for the platform as a whole. But we are now playing the scope of this first delivery, and we are now planning the features that we need to support the Omnichannel needs. But after that, the idea is to scale this feature, the whole platform. Now the team is working on it. The design team is focused on this big and important feature. We have also other stuff to focus, like backend stuff. But yeah, that's now our top priority in short term. Yeah, that's
great.
it.
Thank you. Well, I think that's nice to mention again. As Aaron mentioned, we have some job openings, some positions for the cloud team, infrastructure and cloud engineer. We have positions open for the mobile, for the backend team as well, and maybe others. Check jobs.rocket.chat for more information. I think that we have everything there. So we are going to increase the team a lot, and a lot of job positions opening on the next months. So thank you all for listening to this weekly podcast. This podcast is available as video on YouTube and audio on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and others. And thanks for the Rocket.Chat team, engineering team, to make this possible. See you all on the next episode.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye, 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 bye.